Bill Spencer didn't just hear the rumor, he smiled. Because the second the truth about Ivy exploded inside Forrester Creations, he knew exactly what it meant. This wasn't just drama, this was opportunity, and Bill Spencer never wastes an opportunity. The moment the news hit, Ivy manipulating Will and Electra right under everyone's nose, everything shifted. This wasn't a small office misunderstanding, this was betrayal, personal, strategic, dangerous, and Bill saw it clearly before anyone else did. Forrester Creations wasn't just cracking, it was starting to fracture from the inside, and Bill, he was ready to push it over the edge. Because while everyone else focused on the scandal, Bill focused on what mattered most. Control, he leaned back already thinking 10 steps ahead. Logan was rising, fast, too fast for the Forresters to ignore, and that's exactly how Bill liked it. The splash Logan had made using Eric Forrester's own designs. That wasn't luck. That was war. A silent one. And now, it was about to get loud. Bill didn't care how furious Eric was, didn't care how outraged the Forrester family felt. All he cared about was momentum, and Logan had it. Katie's fashion house was no longer just a side project, it was becoming a real threat. A growing force, one that could actually challenge the legacy empire of Forrester Creations. And Bill, he wanted to fuel that fire, not slow it down, not play safe, he wanted to accelerate it. Because this wasn't just business anymore, it was personal, especially when it came to Will. Bill's expression hardened slightly at the thought. His son, working under the Forresters, that had never sat right with him, not once. And now he had the perfect reason to change that. Because what Ivy did, that crossed a line, manipulating Will, messing with his relationship, creating chaos in his professional and personal life. Bill didn't just see it as drama, he saw it as proof that the Forrester environment was toxic, unstable, dangerous, and not a place for his son. He stood up slowly, already making the decision. Will Spencer was coming home. Whether Will realized it yet or not. Because Bill wasn't going to sit back and watch his son get played. Not by Ivy, not by anyone, and definitely not under the Forrester name. At the same time, another thought formed. Sharper, more strategic. Electra, because this wasn't just about Will, it was about the two of them, a couple, a unit, a potential power move. Bill's eyes narrowed slightly. If Ivy's manipulation pushed Electra away from Forrester too, then suddenly, this wasn't just one opportunity, it was two, and Bill loved doubling his advantage. Because bringing Will alone, that was a win. But bringing Will and Electra together, that was a statement. A power couple under Logan, a fresh face of the brand. Young, ambitious, connected. Exactly what Logan needed to compete at the highest level. Bill could already see it. The headlines, the shift in influence, the balance of power starting to tilt. And it all started with Ivy's mistake. He let out a slow breath. Almost impressed. Because sometimes, your enemies do the work for you. And Ivy had just handed Bill Spencer a loaded weapon. The question wasn't if he would use it. The question was how far he was willing to go. Meanwhile, across town, the tension inside Forrester Creations was suffocating. The news had spread exactly as expected. Fast. Messy. Uncontrolled. Whispers turned into accusations. Accusations turned into confrontations, and right in the center of it all was Will. He hadn't expected this. Not like this. The realization hit him in waves. Ivy didn't just interfere, she orchestrated it. Carefully, deliberately, and the worst part, she did it right in front of him, without him even realizing. Will ran a hand through his hair, frustration building, because this wasn't just about business, this was personal. His relationship with Electra had been real, strong, and suddenly, it felt manipulated. Manufactured, twisted by someone else's agenda. That kind of betrayal doesn't fade quickly, it sticks, it burns, and it changes things. Across from him, Electra looked just as shaken, but there was something else in her eyes too. Distance. Uncertainty. Because trust, once broken, doesn't repair itself overnight. She wasn't just hurt. She was questioning everything, including him. And that's what made this even more dangerous. Because Ivy didn't just create a problem, she created doubt. Between them, silence stretched between Will and Electra, heavy, uncomfortable, real, and in that silence, decisions were already starting to form, unspoken, but inevitable. Back at Spencer Publications, Bill didn't wait. He made the call, short, direct, calculated. Will needs to come in. That was all he said. Because Bill didn't need long conversations, he needed action. And he was about to make his move. Because if there was one thing Bill understood better than anyone, it was timing. And right now, timing was everything. The Forresters were distracted, emotional, divided, and when your opponent is off balance, that's when you strike. Hard, fast, decisively. Bill's jaw tightened slightly. This wasn't just about protecting Will anymore, this was about winning. And Logan was about to rise even higher, fueled by everything Forrester was losing. Because Bill Spencer had already made his decision, he wasn't waiting to see what happened next, he was going to make it happen. And Will was at the center of it all, but there was one thing Bill couldn't fully control yet. One variable, one unpredictable factor, Electra. Because if she walked away from Forrester, everything changed. But if she stayed, that changed everything too. And right now, no one knew what she was going to do, not Will, not Bill, not even Electra herself. And that uncertainty, that was the real danger, because the next move would define everything. Would Electra walk away from the chaos or get pulled deeper into it? And if she leaves, will he follow her, or follow his father? Or worse, will Bill force the decision for him? The moment Will walked into Bill Spencer's office, the pressure hit him instantly. This wasn't a casual conversation, this was a setup, calculated, intentional. Bill didn't waste time. He never did. "I know what happened," he said calmly, too calmly. That alone made Will tense up, because when Bill stayed calm, it meant he was already 10 steps ahead. Already planning something bigger. Will exhaled slowly. "Then you know it's complicated." Bill's eyes sharpened. "No," he said firmly, "it's not complicated. It's clear." And that's when it started. Because Bill wasn't here to listen. He was here to convince, to control the narrative, to redirect the outcome. "Ivy manipulated you," Bill continued. "She interfered in your relationship, your work, your judgment." Each word landed heavier than the last. "Is that the kind of environment you want to stay in?" Will didn't answer right away. Because part of him knew Bill wasn't wrong, and that made it harder, because the truth is the most powerful weapon of all. Bill leaned forward slightly. "You don't belong there." There it was, the core of it. Not a suggestion, a statement. "You belong here, with me, with Spencer." Will clenched his jaw. "This isn't just about you," he pushed back. Bill smirked slightly. "It's never just about me," he replied. "It's about what's best for you." But was it? That question lingered in the air, because Bill's version of what's best usually came with strings attached. Power, influence, control, and Will knew it, but he also knew something else. The situation at Forrester, it was falling apart. And staying there might not be an option for much longer anyway. Bill saw the hesitation, and he moved in, strategically. "Let me ask you something," he said. "What happens next?" Will looked away briefly, because he didn't have a clear answer, and Bill knew it. "You stay there," Bill continued, "and you deal with the fallout. The distrust. The drama. A pause. Or," he let the word hang, "you walk away. Clean, strong, in control." Another pause. "And you bring Electra with you." That changed everything, because now, this wasn't just about Will, it was about them. Together. Will's eyes snapped back to Bill. "She hasn't made any decision yet." Bill shrugged slightly. "Then maybe she needs someone to show her a better one. Simple, direct, manipulative, effective." Because Bill wasn't just offering a job, he was offering a future, a fresh start. Away from the chaos, away from Ivy, away from Forrester. And for a moment, it sounded tempting, too tempting. Meanwhile, Electra stood alone in the Forrester office. The silence around her felt different now, heavier, like everything had changed overnight. Because it had. Ivy's actions didn't just cause a scandal, they shattered trust. And in a place like Forrester, trust was everything. Without it, you're already halfway out the door. Electra walked slowly through the space, her thoughts racing. Could she stay here? After everything? After knowing someone had manipulated her life so easily, so casually? It didn't feel right anymore, didn't feel safe. And that realization was dangerous. Because once you stop feeling safe, you start looking for an exit. And right now, an exit was exactly what Bill Spencer was offering, even if she didn't know it yet. Back at Spencer, Bill delivered the final push. Logan needs you, he told Will. And you need a place where you can actually grow. Will stayed silent, listening, thinking. Because this decision, it wasn't small, it would change everything. His career, his relationship, his future. And Bill knew that. That's why he kept going. You and Electra, he added, you come over together. A slight pause. You become the face of something new. That word hit differently. New, not damaged, not manipulated, not tied to betrayal, new. And suddenly, the idea wasn't just appealing, it was powerful, but power always comes with a price. And Will knew that too, because joining Bill meant stepping into his world. Fully, no distance, no separation, and once you step into Bill Spencer's world, you don't stay untouched, you change. The question was Will ready for that? Was Electra, because the clock was ticking, fast? The fallout from Ivy's actions wasn't slowing down, if anything, it was accelerating, and decisions were coming, whether they were ready or not. Because Bill wasn't waiting, he was already moving pieces, already preparing Logan for expansion, already planning how to position Will and Electra, together, as a force. And if they said yes, it wouldn't just hurt Forrester, it would hit them where it hurts most. Their future, their legacy, their next generation. Bill leaned back confident, because he could feel it. The shift. The moment before everything changes. And he smiled slightly, because he knew one thing for sure, no matter what Will decided, this situation. It was already working in Bill's favor, but the real question still remained. Would Will and Electra walk away from the past, or would they stay and fight inside a broken system? And if they choose Bill's path, will they become unstoppable, or just another part of his game?